and his name is at it's Luke_7. And this guy basically, you know what? Hold on. Shall I just demonstrate it's at Luke because it'll be better that way? Just trust me.
I don't know what you're talking about, Gavin. You're
You're right. None of this is making any sense. I keep
thinking about when we were interviewing with Ellen, and Ellen cut you off at one point. She goes, "Gavin, are you going to say a sentence with a period?
Finish? Are you going to finish a sentence? I know
the sentence." And this is Gaytriarchs.
So, David, I know that this is an audio and not a visual platform, but do you see where I am?
Mm-hmm. Oh. You are in the back seat of a car, which is where I became gay.
If only I were here for that purpose. I'm recording from the backseat of my car because this is the only place I could actually get cell phone reception and a quiet place, basically, because I'm in Eagle Butte, South Dakota. Please Google that. I am truly in the middle of nowhere. But the reason I'm here is I've been wanting to regale you for days. There have been many, many times that I'm like, oh my God, I've got to talk about this on Gaytriarchs. Because, so as I've sort of mentioned before, I take my kids to a church. We are part of a church community that, let me make all the disclaimers, not that I should ever feel defensive about having like some spiritual connection, but it's not about religion. It's about community, frankly, and like showing my kids that there's a broader world out there. And guess what? We are showing them there's a broader world out there because we are in Eagle Butte, South Dakota, where we had basically a cultural exchange with a Lakota tribe, a Lakota Indian reservation, a very, very, very small town nestled within the Cheyenne River Reservation is actually the name of the reservation. And so we've spent the weekend with a bunch of families who are Lakota tribe, and it has been a lot of eye-opening stuff, particularly for my kids. That's for sure.
Are we supposed to say Indian still? Aren't we supposed to say Native American?
Listen.
Or do they? No, but I legitimately am asking because like sometimes they say Indian?
I'm laughing because of the how many layers of do they and theying and othering and everything.
It's the white guilt is taking over me. Yeah.
Absolutely. I totally understand that 100%. Now listen, I will say it's safe space, right? And we're not in danger of being canceled because nobody listens to this podcast anyway. But they say, the Lakota people, they say Indian constantly. So yes, I think that it is okay to say Indian, but you will hear me defaulting to Lakota a lot, and I appreciate that they enunciate.
It's the accent for me that you're doing, like the 20% accent that you're giving me, which is arguably not racist enough, but really tiptoeing up to the line. I just want to tell you that.
I am trying. The Lakota people, they just they have such a, when you hear Native Americans speak.
Go ahead, Gavin.
When you hear them speak, they have a cadence that you really like. And I don't know, I'm trying to respect how they say their name instead of just lazily saying Lakota.
It's just fun to watch you. It's just fun to watch you squirm in the backseat of a rental. It's just real fun to watch. Anyway,
well, so I have a funny story about it. So over the last 2 days, we have spent time with this very, very small hamlet. I mean, 8 houses, literally, and they have a little community center. And I'm celebrating this apparently 40 years that obviously precedes my time in this community. And we made the community made food for us.
Lakota.
They made all the food for us. They eat Indian tacos. Would you like to know what an Indian taco consists of?
I would love to know.
It's a disc of fried bread, sort of like a donut, but no sugar, I guess. Disc of fried bread with taco toppings on top of it. Sometimes with nachos. So basically, listen to this heaven. You're eating nachos on top of fried bread, on top of a donut.
It's kind of like an open-faced like gordita?
Sure.
Right? It's fried bread.
Oh, wait a minute.
Bread.
A gordita it's not just like...
Oh, no, fried is chalupa. So it's like an open-faced chalupa.
Very thick chalupa. Yeah, that's a way of saying it. And then we, so they made it for us, celebrating us being there. We're like, yo, we can cook for you. That's totally fine. Which we were planning on doing. We went to the grocery store. We got a bunch of food. We cooked for them one night, and they cooked for us the next. And then that was followed by karaoke, which was very exciting because it was this woman who has probably been doing karaoke, hosting it for the last 62 years. And she had speakers and she had like 6 microphones, and she loves to sing her like Patsy Cline hits of the 1960s. It was a lot. It was a big cultural exchange. So anyway, my daughter, I am very, 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 very proud of. She stepped up to the plate to entertain the kids. There were about 5 or 6 kids all around like 10 and 13 years old that she was like the Pied Piper with them. And I have to say, I was really, really proud of her stepping up and being her best self. And she really took the leadership position on. So anyway, one day we're sitting around and one of the girls is trying to sell me a bracelet, and she's like, "Hey, Mr. Man, buy this bracelet from me." And I'm like, I held back from saying, "Is there a please with that?" or some kind of charm of any kind. And I was just like, well, wait a minute. Do you think we can make beads together? Could we make bracelets together? And she's like, well, I need beads. And I'm like, well, shit, I'll go buy you some beads. Let's go buy beads and turn this into a, bracelet making situation. So I took all of these girls in the car. There were 5 Lakota girls. You're welcome. And 2, my daughter and her friend. And we drove to the bead shop, which was closed in Eagle Butte, unfortunately. So then I'm like, well, shit, we should just go to Dairy Queen, because there is a Dairy Queen here. And it is, there's 2 restaurants in this town, a Subway and a Dairy Queen. We've eaten it both.
Honestly, that covers all your major food. Like, I'm okay with those 2 options. Yeah.
So we're driving to Dairy Queen. Excuse me. We're at Dairy Queen. I'm like, just order what you want. I don't feel like dropping $50 at Dairy Queen is ever something that I intend to do, but this is a special case. So we're driving back, and these girls, we are screaming Nicki Minaj. I don't know what kind of influence my kids are being on those kids, but we're screaming Nicki Minaj, and they knew all the lyrics too. Talk about a universal unifier is, pop music. So they were screaming all the same songs together. And then one girl says, "Where's your wife?" And my daughter goes, "He doesn't have a wife. He has a husband." And
and the car just slams to a stop.
Yes.
Silence.
Yes.
Dust is kicked up in the air.
Yes. The proverbial needle scratches off the record. Yeah. And they're like, and the girl's response was, "Oh, hell no."
And
I'm like,
did you yank that fucking McFlurry out of their hand?
I had a moment there being like, what am I supposed to do in this situation? I just couldn't believe that my daughter was the one who shouted this. And I'm glad that she didn't have any compulsion about doing so, but I was like, I wasn't really ready yet. When are you ready to suddenly out yourself to a bunch of people who are like, what? So immediately,
in a probably unsafe area that you feel unsafe in as a gay man. So what did you do?
Might be. I don't think it's exactly MAGA out here. I think the Lakota people tend to be Democrats if they're voting. I know that the Democrats court the native vote more than the Republicans do. Anyway, okay, so I'm driving and suddenly it's a little silent and awkward, and I'm like, well, have you heard the term Two-Spirit? And they're like, no. I'm like, well, it's an
You're
Indian...
like, that's your people's thing. Yeah. They're like, your people. You're like,
there's just digging a hole. I'm like, it's an Indian term. Two-Spirit? No. Well, yeah. I know Native people. No. Well, you know what gay means? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, well, guilty. And they're like, oh. And immediately whispering amongst themselves, whispering. And then one of the girls shouts to her friends, "You know what I want to know? How'd he get her?" Pointing to my daughter. I'm like, oh, Jesus. Shit, this is just all opening up. So So I'm like, well, and I'm just thinking, like, how much do I need to explain here? Do I need to explain jerking off into a Dixie cup in a bathroom?
Yeah.
Probably not. Probably
Losing
not, right?
it and then having to go back and do it again, like the whole story. Yeah.
I said, I have a friend who had my daughter in her belly, and they were like, oh, and from the back, a little girl goes, "You mean like a surrogate?" I'm like, and that was it. And then that was the end of the discussion.
You're better than I am. I would have slammed the brakes. I'd say, get the fuck out of the car. You're gonna say ew or whatever they said. No, not interested. But I get like that. Like, this is probably their first exposure to any real gay parent in their entire lives.
I felt like this is a moment to be an ambassador, and if they suddenly don't like me or whatever, which of course they didn't care. They didn't say anything to me. They just kept trying to sell me bracelets, and that is not an exaggeration. They did.
Yeah.
But it was funny that when we dropped them off from our nighttime Dairy Queen run last night, my daughter was debriefing with her two friends, and they all came to my defense, and they said, "We couldn't believe they said that to you." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And it's kind of like a little bit of offended anger came out after the fact. My daughter, I know she was having a great time, but she said that when she was pissed that they said hell no. And I was like, when she said, "Oh, hell no," I was like, girls, that is the least of our concerns, and I was not offended by that. It's fine.
Well, you should have been, but we're not offended because we hear way worse more often.
Hell yeah.
But also, it's nice that like they came to your and also honestly, just exposure for them to see like, no, we are in a safe liberal bubble wherever we live, and everyone knows us, and everything is fine. But this is actually what we kind of have to deal with, and so that's interesting. I would have taken those blizzards out of their hands. I would have thrown them out the window. I was like, now what do you think about gay parents? Or something. I would have. This is why I should never be an ambassador for anything. Ever.
Well, unfortunately, also, though, I do think we left the impression that, listen, rich, I am not. That is for sure. Let me count the ways that I am struggling in all the ways. But obviously, and my daughter is like, I wish we were rich. I wish we were rich. But obviously, in comparison, I mean, I was the fag who showed up, drove them in a really nice car to Dairy Queen two days in a row, and bought them.
Just laid your credit card down.
Laid that credit card down, thinking to myself, "Oh fuck! I hope I'm able to cover this $65 next month." But whatever. I have no problems in comparison to these kids, so I was glad to get them their blizzards and not be an asshole like David Vaughn would have been in the moment.
I would have totally been an asshole, and that is a really good transition to my next topic, which is disciplining other people's kids in public.
Your favorite thing to do?
Well, I mean, my question is like, do you do it? Because I have found a lot recently, either at kids' birthday parties or playgrounds or these like kind of semi-public spaces where like your kids are interacting with other kids and like something happens and their parent is not around.
Right.
I'm not talking about like if their parents are there or whatever, but like if my daughter's holding a ball and a kid walks up and just like grabs the ball out of her hand, she starts crying. Do you say something? For sure.
Yes.
I have no problem disciplining other people.
Hey.
I'll be like, or like somebody will come up to me like, I want that ice cream. I'll be like, first of all, the word please. This is why when you were talking, I was like, this is a perfect segue. Second of all, the answer is no, Clayton, or whatever your name is. So like that's my question is like, do you discipline strangers' kids in public if they do something in front of you?
Absolutely. I think that it takes a village. Hillary Clinton knew it. It takes a village. We've got to be able to pipe up once in a while. And also, don't you have so much trauma as a child of having some parent discipline you on a playground when you made a bad choice? And you do not forget that shit, right? So even though you're looking back in the recesses of your pea brain and thinking that person was such a jerk to me, but you do not forget what you did or the fact that they disciplined you. And listen, over the last couple of days, there were a couple of times that I was like, can I hear please with that? Or, I mean, I muttered under my breath as we walked out of Dairy Queen last night. Sure would be nice to hear a thank you. But I kept that to myself.
I will never forget my neighbor who was my best friend at the time. We were at his house and his mom yelled at me and put me in a timeout in their like reclining chair in their living room. I was fuming. I was like, you bitch, you're not my mom. How dare you? Whatever. But then I also was like taking the time out. But like, I still think about that. Like, it means a lot more. But I think I see some parents kind of like, oh, well, I wish she hadn't done that to my daughter. I'm like, oh, no. Go back and apologize to her. Like, and I don't feel like I'm being like a dad where like, because I do to my kids. If my kids do something shitty to another kid, like, no, you're going to go back. And
Absolutely.
But when their parents are not around, I will discipline your child. So for those of you who are coming to our Gay Dads meetup,
yes,
Saturday, I will discipline your kid. If your kid is shitty, I will yell at them in person. And that is what I want to say is, guys, this is it. This Saturday,
here it is, guys.
Gay Dads. It's finally our listener and us are all going to join, the three of us, and we're all going to go to the Hecksher Playground in New York City, in Central Park. And we're all going to hang out from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. There is I believe, Gavin, you did this on the top of our profile. We pinned our Evite link.
Yes.
If you want it's on the Facebook, everywhere. If you are going to go, by the way, and you have seen the Evite link, if you wouldn't mind just like clicking, I don't know, it's like buy a ticket or whatever. You just
something like
that.
We're not charging anybody anything.
No, because like I see a lot of you have done it already, but I know we're partnering with men having babies, and they were asking me about numbers, and I was like, well, this is the only number I have. So please go on there. If not, no big deal. Just show up anytime between 9 a.m. and 12 p.m. We are so excited about this. Gavin will be in town, maybe.
We'll see. But even if I'm not, you'll have David there to give sweaty hugs to in a yellow shirt that will not show our pit stains too much. So no,
I will.
I will definitely be there, and I can't wait. And I'm stoked that we're going to be there. And Hecksher Playground is the kind of place that even the parents can have a really great time scrambling over rocks. Yeah. So please come between 9 and 12 on Saturday. Woohoo!
Yes.
So moving on, I want you to know that there is basically no good news in the world. Let's just leave it at that, okay? No good news in the world.
Love it.
But what is good news is I do have a dad hack. For those who are, this comes compliments of @DudeDad on YouTube, who should absolutely be one of our guests someday. Hi @DudeDad. There you go. And I was going through some of his videos, and he thought of a hack for how to help kids put on. Like,
what's happening?
Somebody walked by.
Oh, you literally look like you're about to be attacked. Oh my God.
Well, so @DudeDad thought of a hack to be able to help kids who don't know the difference between their right and their left when they're putting shoes on. You know, we're talking, I don't know. Now I'm out of my element now. What is it? 10-year-olds old, 9-year-olds who don't know how to put their shoes on?
3.
Okay. So for 3-year-olds who don't distinguish between right and left, if you draw a half a heart take a Sharpie and draw a half a heart where your heel would go. And then what they need to do is put the hearts together to see which side is the left and which side is the right. I can see your derision there. Changed. I thought it was really cute.
You looked a little baby. It is cute. I'm just laughing because, like, Dad, I'm sure you're wonderful. They sell stickers. We've been using them for years, and they are half stickers, and it's like half a frog or half a heart or half or whatever, and we literally have them in our kids' shoes upstairs. It does actually make a big difference, but I do like the idea of drawing it with the Sharpies because the stickers always come out.
Exactly, I was going to say that, and thanks for you not bringing a dad hack, which you could have brought us a year ago. So how about a DILF of the week?
Yes, I love DILFs.
So actually, this DILF of the week is it's a slight departure, because as I was like, who are the DILFs? You know, my search browser is just you can imagine the all of the images right now coming up, but I thought this was the funniest one, since that's what I often go for. The DILF of the week honorary this week is a novel called DILF Island by A.E. Le Mercier. And I'm pretty sure that that's just a bot. And however MAGA Amazon might be right now, you know they are cranking out the books that are going to pique people's interest, weighing it at 169 pages. So you know this is a beach burner of a read, is just called DILF Island. And it is about Colin, who is masquerading as a reality TV star, pretending to be there with his buddy or something like that. But then, of course, he falls for the hot little twink, and he doesn't know if the twink will still like him because he's pretending to be on the reality show. Anyway, I don't know. My interest was piqued, and I would not read this on the beach for fear of judgment and derision. But nevertheless, DILF Island by A.E. Lemercier, who I'm sure is a made up bot. But that's our
sure. And I also like that the book cover of this book is like the most AI twink, making out situation.
Yep.
But yeah, no, you had me at DILF Island. I would like to visit there. I don't know if there's a Marriott there, but I would like to go to DILF Island. You know where I definitely do not want to go?
Tell me.
To our top 3 list.
Woohoo!
Gaytriarchs top 3 list. 3, 2, 1.
All right, so this week was my week, and it's a little probably more homespun, but I wanted to know, what are your top 3 board games for kids? And are you a game family?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I always want to.
You mean emotional games?
Of course.
No.
Mind games. I definitely play those.
Yeah.
I'm a game dork. I mean, that is the most Chevy Chase element of parenting for me, is that I always want to play games because I want to create memories with my kids, right? But they always come kicking and screaming. Don't get me started about how my partner runs and hides in the closet whenever I say, let's play a game together. It's fine. I still love him. But I'm a big fan of the games. And so, first and foremost,
for those of you listening, you can hear Gavin typing because Gavin is currently typing his top 3 list as he's introing the top 3 list. I want to let you know what it's like to produce a show with Gavin, who is literally actively writing the stuff he's about to talk about.
And you can hear the hesitation in my voice as I'm like, oh, wait, that game.
I hear you monologuing this big preamble. I'm like, baby, get to it. Oh, it's because you haven't written the list. Got it. Okay. All right, so what's the list you thought about?
For me, number 3 for me, Avocado Smash. Avocado Smash is a very fun little card game that you just put down the numbers. A 3-year-old could play it. It's a counting game, and then when something comes up funny, you have to smash the avocado. It is a complete delight of a game that I still enjoying playing with my kids as well. For number 2, the game that I loved that was a little more strategy-based and intriguing, and yet also young kids can play it, is Quirkle. I don't know that I spelled it correctly. I think it's Kwirkle. But it's about lining up shapes and in different colors. And so you either line them up by color or you line them up by shapes. And it almost looks like a domino board when you're done building out this thing. And it's a good time. So I would say...
Wait, you don't mean Quarto, do you?
No.
Quarto? Oh, okay. That's a great one.
I mean, we can Google it if you want, but
No, it's fine.
I'm pretty sure it's Kwirkle, but I highly recommend, and it's very fun. And then number 1, the game that I spent the most time playing between my kids' ages of like 2 to 6, and I loved it when my son brought his uncle in to play the game too, because it was so hilarious, because his uncle, my brother-in-law, is... not the kind who would be caught playing Sophia the First's Tea Party. But let me tell you, number 1 is Sophia the First Tea Party, where you pick up cookies off of the little plate, and it prompts you whether or not you are serving tea or drinking tea. And they had these little plastic things that you would blow over the top to make the tea colors spin. And it was like... there was a certain amount of physicality that was required for it. I gotta say, Sophia the First's Tea Party, we got a lot of mileage out of that, and I highly recommend it for everybody, whether or not you are a hater or a lover of Sophia the First.
All right, so my 3 are obviously very geared towards my family, which is 5 and 3. So very, very, very young kids. It is so annoying to play games with these children. if there's any sort of like complicated strategy, or if there's like lots of pieces, because they're doing cartwheels around and knock shit over. So these are the 3 that I think work really well for this age of kids. So number 3 is, there's a version of Go Fish, like you would do with like a normal deck of cards, that has animals. So it's like, Penguin and Penguin, and there's only 2 of everything. And it was the first thing my 3-year-old could pick up immediately. She understood the game. She understood once you put them down, you pick another one up. So that was really fun. Go fish with animals. Number 2, Bluey has a board game, and it is really, really fun. And partially it's fun because nobody ever really wins and nobody ever really loses. It's kind of it's you can technically lose, but there's no real winner. You kind of all play as a team, and one of the things you do is you have to get up and do something funny, or one of the cards will say like, go find something green in the house in 10 seconds, and the kids get up and they run, and so it's like a very active game. It's really fun,
very cute.
And number 1, this is so fun. I love this game. I don't know if you ever played the real game of Sequence. But there is a Paw Patrol sequence. And what it is, there's just this big board with all the cards that you would get on it. And then you're dealt cards, and then you have to try to get 4 in a row. And so every time it's your turn, you put your card down on one of the little spaces. But there's a Paw Patrol version of it. It is so, so fun. And one of the things you could do is you could take somebody else's card away and everyone laughs or whatever. But it's very simple, very straightforward. There's only cards. There's no other things to do. So Paw Patrol sequence is my number 1.
Those all suck. You should play my games. What is next week?
Your games are for older kids.
No, they're not. No. All 3 of those your 3-year-old could play. I promise.
Okay. Well, I didn't shit on your list, but okay, cool. All right. So next week, I don't know if we've ever done this, but other than Gaytriarchs, what are your top 3 favorite podcasts?
Easy peasy. I will definitely write them down as I say them next week.
Our next guest, like so many of our Gaytriarchs, has been around. And I don't just mean the block or the circuit parties. He has tumbled across Broadway stages as a breakout, barely pubescent star in Oklahoma, with turns in 9 to 5 and Les Mis and All Shook Up and Book of Mormon, becoming a casting director, just judging other actors for a few years. He sold real estate, but moreover helped design living spaces for folks. And then getting back to his tumbling roots is now an entrepreneur who owns and manages a gymnastics studio, helping other kids achieve their Olympic or Broadway dreams. And most importantly, he is a gay dad, just like the rest of us. Welcome, Justin Bohon, to Gaytriarchs.
Welcome.
Thank you. Nice
so,
to see you.
How has your daughter driven you bananas already today?
Well, actually, she's already out of school, so she didn't drive me bananas at all because she had a sleepover at her friend Chelsea's house. And
perfect.
I got a last-minute call yesterday at 5:30 p.m. from someone who had an extra ticket to O'Mary. So daughter was away, and I got to go in and see their performance after they won the Tony. So that was pretty awesome.
Oh,
Sorry.
So we should call the parent
100%.
and be like, how did my daughter drive you bananas today?
They had a sitter too, so it was really.
Oh my god! Wait, was anybody watching the children, or did everybody just have a sitter for everyone else?
Yeah, she has a gizmo. She's fine.
Totally. Now, this actually immediately reminds me of talking to your husband, Stephen Oremus, who was a guest a few episodes ago. Not a trick question, but did you listen to his interview by chance?
I haven't. So
well, then we can't. We can't ask you
telling the truth.
Right, we can't ask you to set the record straight. But I do remember him immediately talking about sleepovers, because it was how your daughter was driving him crazy was that she was freaking out about sleepovers.
It bothers him a lot more than it bothers me. I grew up with people around. I like having people around. I think it's easier when she has someone to play with because she's an only child anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
So sleepovers don't bother me, but literally he's like, do we have to have one every weekend? And I'm like, well, it's that or you entertain her. So yeah.
Right.
Wait, I'm curious because my kids are too young for sleepovers, but how old is your daughter?
She turned 9 in May.
Okay, so what do you think? Because I think we're approaching that time. What is an appropriate age for sleepovers? But my kids are 5 and 3, which I think is way too young.
Well, she definitely started having some sleepovers around 5, but
shit.
I hosted them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the same way. I mean, she has tons of friends that we, trust with her care to stay over. But just for me, that was sort of a thing. I wanted to host the sleepovers just to get used to it. And mostly just because you don't want to send your child off to a sleepover and have the 1 a.m. call where the parents are up and the kid can't sleep.
It was selfish.
Yeah. And your ringer's off and you sleep through it and they're up all night with your child. So but she started pretty young, I guess. But again, I think it's positive as long as you can, maintain the environment there with people they trust. I think that independence is important. And I didn't have sleepovers as much when I was that age, for sure. But I think it's productive to give them some independence.
You definitely have to make sure that whoever, like, I keep thinking about the people, like, whose house she would be at. And, like, do you ask awkward questions? Like, are there guns in the house? Like, do you have those conversations? Like, because I get very fucking nervous. I've got to make sure that these people, didn't vote for Trump. That is number one for me.
I don't have any friends that voted for Trump.
No, absolutely not. But, like, do you ask questions like that? Like, do you have guns in the house? Or do you just kind of assume that they don't?
I assume that they don't, just because of the like-mindedness of our community.
Yeah.
I think I will add that to my list now that you mentioned it.
Yeah.
But even if they did, I really feel like I'm surrounded by a community of like-minded people, and I don't think that would be an issue. Certainly not, on a, like, from social perspectives.
Totally.
I don't know any active hunters or people that have firearms in their home for safety reasons, but now I will be sitting up after this
now
podcast.
I will be totally paranoid about that. It does seem like also at that young age, though, with 5-year-olds or 9-year-olds, you still know the parents, basically. I mean, you wouldn't send your kid. I would caution sending your kid to somebody's house that you don't know the parents.
Oh, never.
And so then that hopefully mitigates the need to ask awkward questions. Like, are you going to get completely shit-faced while my daughter's there? Exactly. Or will you just have a glass and...
Oh, God, Gavin. Gavin is literally tiptoeing up to, like, how much can I drink?
Just depends on the night, really. But yeah.
Well, absolutely. I mean, that's... Yeah. But now I have to say, with my kids being 12 and 13, we have yet... No. We have hosted kids that we don't know the parents, and that was awkward AF because I didn't know how to communally parent the kids because I didn't know the kids and I didn't know the parents. And it was this really awkward, this is going to become therapy, but last summer, my daughter suddenly had 2 friends over and I didn't know the kids and they were all on their phones the entire time. And I didn't feel, frankly, comfortable saying to them, hey, get off your phones and go do something. Instead, my partner and I felt like hostages in our house, and we were completely dominated by 3 teenage girls. It was horrendous, and I will never do that again. So.
Also, like, there's something great about having really close friends with the parents, because then you feel like I can yell at their children.
Yeah, and you better yell at my kid.
We have really close friends in the neighborhood, like we hang out with each other. I feel fully comfortable with screaming at their children.
Yeah,
I've hosted sleepovers for Skylar. Like, I was a moron, and on her 9th birthday, I hosted 9 girls from her class.
Oh my God.
And I knew a lot. I knew all of the parents, but there were a couple of them that I was like, are you behaving this way in my house? And I had that sort of instinct to be like, I have to make everything good. And then I was like, no, I don't. You don't own my house. I own this house. Like, if you want something, you say please. And when you get it, you say thank you. And you're causing trouble and I know it. So stop.
I don't know why. I just had this vision of you coming down the stairs in this big moo-moo, hair full of curlers with a wooden spoon, yelling at the kids. Like, that's the vision I have for you, Justin.
That would be Steven's side of the family. They're Italian, and his mom, when they were misbehaving, she didn't even have to do anything with it. She would just bang it on the banister. Spoon out.
I kind of want to be that mom, I have to say.
You are that mom, Gavin, let's be honest.
There is a healthy amount of, I shouldn't say fear, but respect that I think children who are allowed to have so many feelings these days need to regain for adult authority figures that are providing them really nice lives and fun experiences. Like, You should be a little nervous about what I'm going to do if I round the corner.
Well, instilling fear then is a good reason to say, have you figured out any hacks along your parenting path that you could share with our audience?
I mean, I think the biggest one, and this is not news, but the biggest one is, like, if you set a consequence for an action, you better follow through, because don't, the next time they're just going to walk all over you. So many times I've heard Stephen say, if you don't do that, you're not doing iPad tonight. And I'm like, but you're not the one that's home. I am. Like, right. No fair if you can't follow through. Right. So I think that's the biggest one, is that they respond to, the consequences that you set for certain behavior. That was my alarm to tell me it was time to do the podcast, by the way.
Oh, nice.
We are on the same brainwave. It's totally fine.
Yeah, so that's the biggest one. And then I also think that, like, people, I was saying this earlier, that like kids are allowed to have so many feelings, et cetera. And I come from like a very sort of old school upbringing where it was like, you do it. I'm the parent and you do it. There's not conversation about what you're feeling or why. So I will say that I have learned in my evolution of parenthood that the conversation is actually important, right? The respect that you show your child is then given back to you. Like, not unrealistic things, but there are times that I have come down hard on Skylar or made a hard line about something, and then taking the 15 minutes to discuss the behavior that she was exhibiting actually did reveal that those feelings were valid and they need to be validated. So I think that's important too, and not necessarily the way that I was raised. And I think it's important for young people to have a voice, for sure.
And also there is benefit to them seeing that you are holding a line, not only for like the stability and structure of their lives, but I saw this TikTok and was talking about like that when they see you holding lines, even if it's with other people, they feel safe as their protector. They see
100%.
you being strong enough to hold lines or to bark at somebody or to grab or whatever the thing is. And obviously, we are obviously not talking about like abuse in any sort of way. We're talking about holding hard lines, being like, no, you don't get to do that. You don't get to do that. And they see that as strength that will protect them. And I say that to myself every time I yell at my daughter every night to go to fucking bed.
I'm setting a good example for her, actually.
I am saying this to myself.
Yes. I actually learned that from my mom. She was a second grade school teacher for like 25 years.
Wow.
And she worked in a school with a lot of some lower income families and kids that didn't have the best home environment. And she was known as the meanest teacher in the school, in theory, but all the kids loved her. Because they had no structure at home. And she set very strict boundaries, and she followed through, and there were consequences for their actions. And they loved her more than any of the teachers that brought in candy, right?
Absolutely.
Because they need some of that.
Wow, you must have gotten a lot of wisdom from her then. That was convenient.
Yes, I did. Can you hold on one second? They're vacuuming. Can you hear the vacuum? Should I ask them to stop?
I did a little bit, but
I think it's fine. Honestly, I don't hear it. I heard it a little bit, like about 5 minutes ago.
A second ago?
Yeah.
That was actually the construction in the basement. But
you guys are just
over here.
You have a busy day. Well, then speaking of busy days, then also, you've been an actor, you've been a casting director, a realtor, an entrepreneur. Have you learned anything in the process, or are you just moving from job to job?
I mean, I think I've learned something from each of them, right? Acting,
of course.
Broadway was like my dream, of course. And I did that for, over 20 years. And I think it's one of the things that I'm most proud of for a number of reasons. I learned that having a child and doing 8 shows a week is not a thing. Like I don't know how there are so many people in our community that are Broadway performers that have multiple children that go into the city. I mean, New Jersey Transit's against you. Like everything is, it's really hard, and they don't get to see their kids as much. So that's sort of what I learned from that experience, other than just the pride of what I got to do and was fortunate enough to do.
Sure.
Real estate was very interesting because I entered that market when it was just insane, when no one could get a house. It's kind of still the case. Casting was great. My dog, sorry.
You're fine.
That's okay. We appreciate messy guests. We want a messy guest who has all kinds of things happening and dogs and cleaners.
I'm just distracted by how perfect your hair is right now, Justin. So I don't consider you messy.
That in like 5 minutes too, because I was like, it's time.
Gavin often has hair envy with our guests. He really likes a good head of hair.
That's a good Broadway head of hair right there, of being like, oh, I can look camera ready in 1 second. Sure.
And also, like, I can see how the mic would really love, like, a nice clip. Do you know what I mean? I could see how it would clip perfectly into that hair.
Literally, there is a spot in my hair from a clip that is like nothing in the world could make it grow
I
back.
still feel like I still have like mic tape glue on the back of my neck. Like, still to this day, I haven't been on a Broadway stage in 10 years. I still feel like I have that.
You still like find a piece.
Yeah, exactly.
You left off at casting. I am really curious what that was like to suddenly be on the other side of the table. And
I think that was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. A lot had to do with where I was working and the process and some of the people I was working with. I entered that environment working for someone who was very old school. And then there was a new wave of respect in a great way for actors. And it sort of tipped in a way that was like, you started to feel like you couldn't do anything right or say anything right. But for me, of course, it was just a huge education, because every time I auditioned for something, if I didn't get it, I was like, what did I do wrong? I thought I sounded amazing. I nailed that scene, blah, blah, blah. And then if I didn't get it, I would go down this spiral, and literally it has nothing to do with what you do in the room.
Shouldn't every actor should be an intern for a casting director when they arrive in New York City?
I think it would help them to walk into the room with so much more confidence, because all you can control is what you do in the room. And 90% of the time, the outcome of the scenario has very little to do with your performance. It has to do with a million other things. So I found that very refreshing as an actor, even though I had sort of closed that chapter. And also, I loved being in the room and being a supportive person behind the table for actors, because I don't think career casting directors really know what it takes to get in there. And you sit behind the table and you see 100 people in a day, and as nice as you can be, by the time you get to 90, you're just like, how are you? Could you do your 16 bars? Right. Unless you've done it, you don't understand what a person puts into an audition, how much they work on. I made it a point. If I assigned you a side, you got to do that side.
Thank you.
I hated
not common
those 90-page packets, and then you get through one scene and they've already decided who they're casting. And if you can't make a decision about casting an actor, or at least decide that they need a callback, then do not hand them 90 pages of sides. It's rude.
That's great.
I had issues, when I transitioned to directing, and I was now on the other side of the table making these decisions, I had a similar kind of like epiphany about like what this process was actually like and what I had gone through. And I have a similar kind of soft spot for actors, because I was like, I did this for so long. Famously, like I went in for the same role for Phantom once a year for like 5 or 6 years, and the packet was legitimately 83 pages. And luckily by like year 2 or 3, I had it fully memorized. It was in my body. But I remember being so angry that I had to do all this information, knowing now that I'm a director, I was like, you didn't need all that information. You didn't hear me sing 3 notes, and then you knew where we were going. But then I would have to, there would be, certain theaters that were like, listen, we have to cast somebody X, Y, and Z, or it's already cast or whatever, but we can't let everyone know for legal or whatever. And it would just be so frustrating to me seeing these people spend their time, their money, calling out of work, doing all this stuff for a role that, like Gavin, when you came in for me, I was like, the role, it can't go to you, because they told me it has to go to somebody who's played the role already. And like, it's so frustrating.
Put up shows in 4 days.
Because they put up shows in 4 days. We literally had to have the show set up in 4 days, and it was fucking wild. But it is true. Like if you're an actor out there and you have any chance to assist or be on the other side of the table, it is wild how much that can inform you.
3 days in a room would change your whole perspective, I think.
Oh, that's It's so interesting. Did you ever have an issue running into actors on the street as a casting director and think, oh, geez, I don't want to have to stop and talk to this person, or, oh, this is really awkward, or...
Like twice a day?
Twice a day, right.
Yes. But then again, it's like you just put the shoe on the other foot, right? Somebody, needs a connection, needs to feel... I always tried to build people up, because I don't think that you get anything good from actors beating them down. And I think that's like old school mentality. Beat someone down to build them back up again is the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
I mean, some of those equity open calls, just like the characters that you meet are like, people would get annoyed and I would be like, this is amazing. Like, just come on in here with your poodle and your crazy hair and your props, and let's make this happen.
Oh, so especially some of those ECCs, I would sit there and like you said, you're seeing 100, 200 people, 16 bars just come in. So like they start
Sometimes
to like
8 bars, right?
Yeah, exactly. They start to feel all the same. You're like, okay, I've heard Meadowlark sung at this level 100 times already. But then somebody will come in and they're wearing like a big coat, and you're like, oh, is there a reveal coming?
Yes,
you know what I mean? Like, they had something planned, and you're like, oh my god. Or they'll be like, can I grab a chair? I'm like, oh shit, bitch, yes. Show me. Give me a full performance.
Sit on that piano if you want to.
Can you share with us like one of the craziest offbeat auditions that you ever remember?
I would say the most uncomfortable. I don't know about offbeat. There are so many of those, right? Like, I mean, over chatty actors are kind of that's when I work with the students at Shenandoah, the seniors, and I'm always like, let's be friendly, but we're not friends. Remember, like when you come in, cordial, hello, how are you? Let's get down to business, right?
No.
I mean, probably the auditions for hair are the most awkward because some people just really decide to go all out, and I'm like, where should I be looking? Right? Just like, oh, wow. Or,
I can't look at
really
your genitals, but oh my God. Yeah.
You really took that 70s vibe reel down there. Like, thank you for going the extra mile, or not in this case. But yeah, those
I love how like you're telling the story and you're still not even able to look at the camera. Like you're like, I can't even look at myself telling the story.
Yeah.
All right. So now you are an entrepreneur and you own a gymnastics studio, right? Tell us how that came about.
Yeah.
So I'll try and make it short. When I did Oklahoma, one of my good friends, Mia Price, played Gertie Cummings.
Of course. God, I didn't know this connection. I love Mia Price. This is I want to hear more about. Keep going.
So I met her actually doing. Speaking of putting up a show in 4 days, the original choreography to Crazy for You at Pittsburgh CLO,
wow,
where we put it up in 4 days, and they did bring in a lot of people. But I stayed friends with her, and we've been friends ever since Oklahoma, well over 25 years now, I guess. 20 years I've known her at least. And her husband is my business partner, and he owns 6 other gold medal gymnastics and ninjas in Long Island. And he'd been asking me about it for a really long time. And I just thought, what a headache. Like with real estate, I can do my own thing. I can work as much as I want to, et cetera. But I started taking my daughter to gymnastics in this area, and I was a little bit disappointed in the training that she was getting. And gymnastics centers are very expensive to run and maintain, right? So a lot of them were subpar, and I just finally committed and said, you know what, I'm going to do this. And it has been a crazy, crazy year. Like, I don't know. I definitely would do it again, but I am so grateful for the knowledge that I have now, because opening a business is just, it's impossible. And I never could have done it without, the structure that they've created at the other gold medals.
Mm-hmm.
But it has been a big uphill climb and challenge that I'm very proud of. We hit the 1,500 mark student ratio, which is unheard of. I love my coaches. I've gotten to know so many of them, and I'm really proud of it. So that feels good. I didn't think that at 47 years old, I would have started this new chapter, or that it would have gone this way. Mm-hmm. And for all of the headaches and growing pains of the business, I'm really proud of it.
My kids go to a gymnastics studio by us, and there's the hottest coach for my son's group. And whenever we have to split up, and they're like, who's going to go? I was like, I'll go. I was like, he is uncomfortably hot, where like all the other parents, there's like side texts going on about like, ooh. And somebody found his Instagram that was like private, but somehow got it and found like shirtless photos. It was like a whole thing, but he is fucking gorgeous. But I will say this particular gym,
some private lessons.
Oh no, 100%. Like, do you coach 45-year-old men privately in my car? But I will say that this gym, and I assume it sounds like your gym too, is like that these people who work there are so fucking great with these kids. They know how to handle these little goblins in a way that is I couldn't do, but it's so supportive, and it's like it's really strong. Like everyone is very like, this is where you go, but it's still loving and sweet. It's a great place. Yeah, so that's really exciting.
But surely the little goblins you're talking about pale in comparison to the old ogres that bring them to gymnastics. I mean, the parents
Why
must
are you
be...
looking at me when you say that?
The parents must be the pain in the ass. How do you manage them?
Well, I am running a business here, so I'm going to be careful what I say.
Here comes the PR answer. Go ahead.
It's interesting. I can meet a child and tell you exactly what their parent is like without ever laying eyes on them.
But that's true across the board. Like you meet a kid at the playground. It's the same way. You say one thing to me, I was like, I know every fucking thing about your parents.
Yep.
No.
I mean, I will say, as we all know, being a parent is hard. So I try to be understanding. And if there are real issues, I will move heaven and earth to help you. What I've really learned about parents in general is whether they're right or wrong, it's probably a stressed out mom or dad. And yet again, what their issue probably has very little to do with you and everything to do with the day that they had.
Yeah.
And initially, because I was so proud of what we had created, my first go-to was to be defensive, right? And to say, no, we have this in line and this person, and they've been teaching here for this long, and that would never happen in this gym. And then I realized that's not what anyone wants to hear. They just want to hear, oh my gosh, I can't believe that happened. I'm absolutely going to address it. And would you like a free class? Just give them a little something that costs you nothing so that they feel heard and validated, and then move on. Now, there have been circumstances where I have put my foot down, and mostly that involves the treatment of my staff. I can deal with anyone, but you're not going to be disrespectful to my staff.
Yeah.
That's my hard line, really.
Is your daughter a student? Like, is she following in dad's footsteps?
She loves it, but I laugh so hard. She has great facility. She's very strong. I mean, the girl can do more pull-ups than I can. She can do like 20 pull-ups with, no problem at all. And she loves gymnastics. She's very athletic, but she's not always a hard worker. So like the first week we opened, she was like, I'm going to be on team. And I had her try out for the team, and she did her assessment, and she was approved for the bronze level. She was there 45 minutes and she was crying in a corner, and she was like, this isn't for me. She was like, this is really hard work, isn't it? I was like, yes, it is. It's very hard work. It's not just playing around, because her experience was just running around the gym and having fun.
And bouncing on the bouncy floors. That's kind of all they want sometimes, right?
Yeah.
To just bounce.
It feels so good to jump on those floors.
Feels so good.
You just feel, you're like, oh, I'm just a little
I wish
thing.
my house had them, to be honest.
Yeah.
So good for your joints.
Yeah.
But now she's in a it's called an accelerated class. So it's a little above girls gymnastics. It's 2 hours long. And we set up sort of a pod class for her and her friends with one of the coaches. That's amazing. And she loves it. We're actually getting ready to do our expo this weekend, and she's performing in that. So,
oh, geez, all of that competition world, you have to that sounds like another layer of headache that maybe I would imagine you could get into this job and be like, oh shit, I got to go manage a bunch of competitions now too.
Scheduling
it started out that way. Thankfully now I have great directors and an amazing team coach. So I'm literally like, tell me what you want. Let's make that happen. I'm not going to tell you how to be a competitive team coach because I have no idea.
Wow, that's great. So do you have any, well, I guess you're right in the middle of this right now. So you're not yet planning the next job, but what do you want to do when you grow up?
Well, I think I would like to plan to expand this company to other places in New Jersey, to be honest with you. It was sort of an experiment to start with. And, you never really know how it's going to go when you open a business, but it's gone really well. And I also, as cheesy as this sounds, there is something to gymnastics and any sport really, but I do believe watching a child get better at anything improves their self-esteem and gives them confidence. And this is no exception. And also the social, right? The social aspect of like being around other kids who are doing something together. I feel the same way. Also, a lot of these kids that started out in like our bronze babies, that's like the parent and taught class. Some of them hadn't been around people because of COVID, right?
Yeah.
Like it's really been helpful and productive for families on a lot of levels.
So one interesting element of your parenting, I would imagine, is the completely opposite schedules that you and Stephen have an awful lot of the time. And he brought that up.
Because he's out of the country 6 months out of the year?
Yes. What is that like, aside from you being like, yep, here, as you take a slurp of whatever that was you were drinking, no judgment, you're like, oh, he's out of the country 6 months of the year. That's a lot. How do you manage that balance?
I don't know. Honestly, there's no good answer, right? Because of the financial aspects, this is a dynamic I see in a lot of relationships, right? Because for so long, he was the breadwinner entirely. Everything I did sort of took a backseat. And if I'm honest, I've been pretty vocal about resenting it. So we've started to pay very close attention to that. And there are now, I'm like, my job is important too, right? Like it can't just because, I get it when, Stephen Schwartz says you got to be here, you got to go there. But like, that doesn't mean I don't have an important job as well, right?
Yeah.
So I would say that's probably, if there's any conflict in our relationship, it's been over that.
Yeah.
It's really difficult to time manage. Stephen's mom is here, so she helps out. We have a caregiver that helps out. My parents, when it's crazy and he's gone for a while, my parents live in Missouri, but they're extremely helpful. I just fly them here for however long. Yeah. And, we make it happen. And then we also have a great support system with friends, that we can call and say, oh my gosh, can Skylar ride home with Naomi today? Stuff like that. But it's much less planned and more like, what's going to happen today?
Yeah. And I think that this could maybe be, you'll have to come back and we could do a whole part 2 about this. But like, I feel the same way about, when you have a dad in the family who is maybe the breadwinner or is the big breadwinner, and you are just, you're an equal partner in this family, and you're doing all this other stuff that is maybe not just directly translated into money. It can feel a little like you have a little bit of a chip on your shoulder. So when the opportunity comes, you're like, no. It's because, especially as an artist, like you're an artist at your heart, right? Like there is this like need to prove yourself and everything. So like this is a whole nother podcast, but I totally get that feeling.
And it's very relatable.
It is very relatable. And God, I want to talk about Susie Orman right now, but anyway, we'll talk about that on part 2.
Stephen's favorite phrase that I have banned from his vocabulary is, you know what we need to do? And I'm like, you mean you know what you want me to do?
That I need to do. Yeah.
That is not a we.
Yeah. I really, really, really appreciate and applaud you for being able to address exactly what you said directly, because if that just stayed bottled up, it would just be a desperate housewife situation that combusts.
And you would be a day drinking alcoholic like Gavin.
Yeah, like me.
This is what repressed feelings turn into. Look at it right in front of you.
Here it is, folks.
Well, then speaking of your truth, then I'm curious how, especially given your variety of experiences, which I think that you've actually had a really interesting and I'm sure worthwhile and fulfilling trajectory. What is the professional advice you would give your daughter then, given your experience?
Professional advice in terms of just life or career or
what is the, like, when she leaves home, what are the bits of advice that you want to be able to give to her?
Well, I mean, I think what we have always said and what I think translates to work and life is be a kind person. Have empathy, right? That's going to get you the furthest in life in general, I think. And I think work ethic. I run a gym and I hire a lot of young people, and it is different than when I was growing up. I would say that you will stand out most if you manage to graduate and are a young person with work ethic, that you're not afraid of hard work and you don't use phrases like, give me grace when you're really just late for work.
You're just late for work, girl. You don't need to write a poem about it. You're just late.
Can you show me some grace? I'm like, can you show me some on time? And then we can talk about grace.
Yeah.
Well said.
But I just really think I would say empathy and work ethic are the two things. I don't care what you do. I don't care about financially what you make. I want you to be happy. I want you to be a kind person. And I want people to know that you are not afraid of hard work.
Yeah. Oh, that's That's excellent. I would say let's leave it there, except that I want to hear some shit stories from you too. So we always love being able to close out our interviews with saying, what was the time that you will never forget and you earned that parenting merit badge?
I'll tell you a couple of stories. One is like, so I grew up in a very strict Southern Baptist family, right? Like I didn't ever hear my parents like curse at all, right? Stephen's, grew up differently. They were loud and Italian, and there was a lot of cursing. I tell this story all the time. The first time I went to Thanksgiving with his entire family, which is he has a twin brother and sister, and we're sitting around the dinner table, and they're just, yelling and cussing and like just going on. And I was like, are we going to say grace or no? Okay, apparently not. Here we go. And Stephen, like Italian moms, this is a stereotype, but like they complain a little bit about what they have to do, but then they want to do it all as well, like take care of their kids, especially their sons. So Stephen just like hopped up from the table and like, didn't clear his plate or anything. And I was like, Stephen, take your plate. And his mom goes, you see what I deal with, these jerky fucks? And I was like, oh, happy Thanksgiving. So my daughter has heard a lot of curse words, I guess, from various people, but literally I never swore at all. Like I've slipped like once or twice in front of her ever. So for a long time, I was like hearing all these parenting stories about their kids saying the funny things and cursing. And I was like, well, no, Skylar really doesn't. And then one day when she was like 4 years old, she'd had like habitual cough, like she had her adenoids out and all this stuff. And I just hear her hacking away in the room. And what was the exact thing she said? She used it perfectly. She was like, I can't stop coughing and I'm fucking sick of it. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess she does know some curse words after all. Thanks, Nana and Daddy. But yeah, so that was how I found out she does know what curse words are and how to use them.
Right.
So yeah, that was my introduction to my daughter cussing.
A well-placed F-bomb, let's face it. Don't overuse it, but when it's appropriate, it's appropriate.
And it's hard not to laugh because you're like, oh God, that's so funny, but I don't want to encourage it. I fell on the floor in the other room and immediately texted like 4 friends. Yeah.
Well, Justin, we are so lucky that you would demean your stupid little podcast. And thank you. I think being able to hear your adage about kindness and work ethic. Oh, David.
Oh, it's Gavin porn. It's Gavin porn. Oh, God. He loves gratitude.
Yes.
He loves thoughtfulness.
Yes.
It goes a long way.
Yeah.
It sure does. Thank you for that, Gavin porn. Justin, thank you so much for coming. And we'll have that part 2 where we bring in some Susie Orman references.
Yes.
And
let's do it.
And how to
Anytime. Love her.
How to make the world a better place. Thanks, Justin.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
All right, I am so excited for my Something Great this week because, well, 1, I thought about it ahead of time. Wow. And 2, in a world where all of the news is fucking terrible and there are so many things to be down about, I love that somebody else is out there eloquently giving all the fucks and educating people and screaming at the people who basically don't agree with us. And so it's a guy, his Instagram handle is it's Luke_7. And this guy serves all the rage in all of the really, really good ways. And man, I would love to see a public debate between him and just about anybody on the MAGA right. Let me give you just a little taste, okay?
I didn't vote for this. I didn't know all this was going to happen. And now it's starting to affect me. Well, ruh-roh, Raggy, I just had a look through my great big bag of fucks, and it's empty because ICE raided it, and thanks to the tariffs, I can't afford any more. And so now, every single fuck I've got left is going towards calling out all of the terrible shit that's going on and supporting the people who need help who didn't give this shit legs to stand on.
I love how he just lets it fly. So for me, something great that brings me a whole lot of joy right now in a dark, dark world is at It's Luke_7. Can't wait. Luke, don't know if you're gay. Hope you are. Don't know if you're a dad. Probably not because you look 22 years old. But come be a guest on Gaytriarchs because we would love to hear how many fucks you don't have to give.
It's so funny because I I know who that is, but I didn't know that his name. So when you started talking, I was like, I don't know who this is. But as soon as I heard his voice, I was like, I fucking love that guy. Because you're right. There's something so cathartic about hearing somebody else in rage in the way that you wish you could. It's like when you're in the shower after a fight and you're replaying it and you're rehearsing the way you should have done it. And then they get it right. Well, what's so funny about the Something Greats, for the listener out there who doesn't know, the Something Greats for Gavin and I are a surprise. I don't know what his is. He doesn't know what mine is. It is always so magical when they line up in a beautiful way. My Something Great this week is also an internet person who is also just firing off at the mouth politically in a way that is so cathartic and wonderful. So I started following this guy. His name is Kyle Sullivan. If you don't know who he is, he's at Celtic Jumper, CelticJumper. I'll admit this, Gavin. I started following him because he is often shirtless. He is gorgeous.
This is my surprise face. This is
long,
this is my surprise.
Curly blonde hair. He's got this. He's always done this like dark gothy Halloween sexy vibe. Like he'll wear like the Scream mask with no shirt on and with like a black and white filter. That was his MO for a long time, which I was okay with. I was like, this is enough content for me, Kyle. But then recently, and he's straight and he's never really done much politically. Recently, he does a morning rage where he just sits in his car and he just goes, what the fuck? And like, he is such a liberal in a way where like coming from this like muscly, tatted, like straight guy, there's just something so satisfying and powerful about it. And I was just thinking, and I sent him a message. I rarely fangirl, but I was just like, thank you, because unfortunately, your voice matters more when you're yelling about how important it is to support pride or support whatever, because you're a straight white man who is gorgeous and has tattoos. But man, is he awesome. So our Something Greats lined up in a beautiful way this week. So he is at Celtic Jumper. His name is Kyle Sullivan. He's hot, guys. So even if you just want to go there for the shirtless stuff, he is super, super fucking hot. So give him a follow. And that is our show. If you have any comments, suggestions, or general compliments, you can email us at GaytriarchsPodcast@gmail.com.
Or you can DM us on Instagram. We are at GaytriarchsPodcast. On the internet, David is at DavidFMVon everywhere, and Gavin is at Gavin Lodge on the Res.
On the Lakota Reservation. Please leave us a glowing 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts.
Thanks, and we'll rage at you next time on another fucking episode of Gaytriarchs.